Good evening, everybody. I'm Bryan Harrison with MHMatters, and you are watching what's going to be our one and only candidate discussion event for the Lammersville Unified School District Board of Education Trustees. Districts, we have a new district system, and we will have areas, district areas 1, 2, and 3 are up for election this season. And we have 5 candidates in total in the 3 districts. 2 in each of District 1 and 2, and then District 3 has Lisa Boulay running uncontested, but she's been gracious enough to be here with us tonight. On call at work, so she might have to dodge out, but we'll do what we can. I wanted to just say that there was a press release just announced that the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurman, on September 25th announced and congratulated Mountain House High School as one of 30 California schools that have been chosen among the 356 National Blue Ribbon schools for 2024. So congratulations, Mountain House High School. I think given that we're here for the Board of Trustees, that's apropos. Also today, just announced, I don't think I have my notes on it here, but there was a high school senior that was awarded from the College Board, right? $40,000 scholarship today. So that's pretty amazing. All kinds of successes happening with this district. And Mountain House High School has received numerous other awards for their academics and various things too. As we get started here, I wanted to thank our community members who helped gather questions and helped put this together. Specifically, Ms. Louie LaFamme. She gathered quite a few questions that I was able to kind of build into what we're going to ask you guys tonight. And she also created a Facebook Messenger thread that connected all of us. So I was very grateful for that. It made it easier to make sure that we were all on the same page and making this happen. So I welcome our candidates tonight. And what we're going to do is start with allowing you each an opportunity to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your background and why you're running and all of that. I had more notes to say, but I think we're going to go ahead and all that. I did want to say, I think it's worth noting, based on the numerous questions that were collected and presented in various places where they came from, there appears to be a sense that from a lot of people in the community that the school board might be more directly involved in day-to-day school decisions than I think is true. And maybe we can kind of talk about that a little bit. There are a few questions that people sent repeatedly that I don't think the school board really deals with. It's probably more school decision making, but we'll get into that as I could be mistaken. So, but I think it'd be worthwhile kind of specifically addressing some of those issues if we can. So let's begin with our candidate introductions. We'll start on the left with Sureka and work our way across the panel. We are located in the old CSD boardroom, so it just seemed apropos. And thanks to Khalid for having us at the Zaytech Academy. This kind of makes it fun to have you guys sitting at the dais. For me, I don't know. So you'll each have 3 minutes to share with your district constituents and the community at large, who you are, which district you're looking to represent, and a bit on your background experience, and arguably most important, why you are running for a spot on the LUSD Board of Trustees. You might also want to include how long you've lived in Mountain House or within the district. It might not even be Mountain House in some cases. And if you would also share just briefly to what degree you've already participated within the district. So, Sureka, let's start with you.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. And thank you, Bryan and Mountain House Matters, for hosting this discussion. And hello to everybody. Nice to meet you. So, my name is Sureka Shekhar. I'm a resident of College Park in Mountain House. So our family moved here from the Bay Area during the fall of 2022. I'm a mother of a elementary school going student at Lammersville Unified School District. By qualification, I'm an engineer and I'm a seasoned technology professional with prior experience where I have worked as an engineer and as a team leader, technical lead, manager. I have built and led several enterprise products, and also I had an opportunity to coach and mentor professionals as part of my experience. I did work for many years in the IT industry, and then motherhood came in, and it was fun raising our young child while also balancing work and family. The rigors of it, it was not easy to manage. And during this process, I kind of had a moment where I started thinking about what is my life goals and my future interests in career and life. And that's when my interest started towards community building. So I wanted to take a chance and try my hands at community building efforts. I did work in a volunteering role at multiple nonprofits, and it was a very rewarding experience, which no paycheck can give me, to be honest. And as a part of this experience, I also wanted to connect with kids because, having my own child, I wanted to understand, how other kids are able to handle the school, and just to, it was more like a behavioral assessment of kids. So I started substituting, and I worked in San Ramon School District. So that was a very insightful journey. I was able to connect with the kids and understand their challenges and needs, and it opened up a lot of, perspectives about my own self. During the course of this time, there was also COVID going on, and I had a chance to, run a life skill enrichment program for girls as part of a Girl Scout troop. I did start the Girl Scout troop with a fellow mom, and that was a fun journey during COVID. So then I wanted to increase the outreach, to encompass more kids and also reach global. So that's when I started, my own business, most recently called Sailboat Ventures. So after we moved to, Mountain House, I've been always involved in community efforts as a community volunteer, and I've proposed, completion and expansion of park and school amenities. I've, sought funding for the Crossing Guards program. I've also recommended, streamlining of the STEAM Fair participation. And why I'm seeking the position on the board is, as a parent, I bring firsthand experiences of the students and families to the board. As an educator who has insight into the challenge and needs of our kids, I will advocate for the students, the solutions that are in the best interest of the students. I also will bring a fresh outlook and decision-making process, which addresses the needs of students, parents, teachers, and staff. So quickly, my priorities as a board member would be, to ensure the planned completion of all the school and park amenities, to strive for the safety and well-being of our students and make it, a top priority in the district policies, promoting more STEAM initiatives for all the grades, enhancing the students' nutritional needs, then special needs education services definitely needs more improvement. And finally, collaborating with the community and the board. I want to open up more avenues. To kind of close, my motto as a board member would be to make students my priority. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So I think we'll go 4 minutes because a 3 is not enough, huh? Fair enough? Let's do that. Hey, Mr. Pombo.
Hi, my name is, that was loud. Hi, my name is David Pombo. I've served on the Lammersville School Board for 14 years. I am extremely proud of Lammersville Unified School District and what we have been able to, and what I have been able to contribute to support the district in my 14 years of service. In my time on the board, we have built 4 K-8 schools, Mountain House High School, and the second expansion of Mountain House High School is currently underway. We've expanded the district office, built the Professional Development Center, are in the process of designing and building 2 more K-8 schools, along with adding sports fields on a property we successfully negotiated from the developers, all while maintaining and even improving educational excellence that Lammersville has become synonymous with. Lammersville Unified School District has won numerous awards in my tenure on the board, including Association of California School Boards Administrators, School Board of the Year, Region 7 in 2019, California School Boards Association Golden Bell Award 5 times, including this year. This is an award given annually to districts for innovation in education. National School Boards Association Magna Award in 2019, which is similar to the Golden Bell, but on a national level. In 2019, Mountain House High School was named California Distinguished School by the California Department of Education. In 2020, U.S. News and World Report named Mountain House High School one of the top high schools in the nation. And just recently, Mountain House High School was named one of only 33 schools in the state and only 356 in the entire country to win a National Blue Ribbon School Award, a prestigious award given to schools that demonstrate excellence in education. We have been able to accomplish all of this and much more while being one of the lowest funded districts in the state. It is my belief that experience and educational and institutional knowledge is important on the school board, and I therefore would like to continue the journey that I've been on for the past 14 years in assuring that Mountain House Schools and the Lammersville Unified School District maintain that excellence. By the way, I've lived in the district my entire life and no plans of going anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna? Sorry. There we go.
Hi all. Thanks for giving me the opportunity for introducing myself in this form. My name is Ramashri Upachayala, and I have been living with Mountain House for almost 15 years with my 2 beautiful daughters and my husband. We moved in since 2010 here, and have seen this Mountain House, how it has been built. The community is growing so well. And the schools. My daughter just graduated from college, but she has educated herself from elementary and high school. The younger one is in high school, just started her journey in high school, I will say that way. And behind that, I have been doing my leadership role where I manage my projects, collaborating closely with my clients and engineering, which leads to my successful outcomes. I have done Bachelor's of Science back in India, and also I have master's degree in literature. So that's what is my education qualification. Other than that, I have been working with the schools. I have volunteered more than 500 hours plus. I have dedicated myself for educating them and participating in Science Olympiad and Math Olympiad, coaching them. So that type of volunteer hours, I have placed it and helped the students to come to achieve their goals. Other than that, I have also volunteered in non-profit organizations. I'm still working in the leadership roles in those areas. My priorities will be ensuring the safety of students in schools, supporting students in their academic and educational results, addressing and voicing the concerns of following community members, but I want to listen to them and then bring it to the board and see how much I can give my outcome of it. And other than that, I'll be focusing on the best outcomes of the future development of the community. As a trustee, I will bring following on the table: the enhance the students' achievement, focus on policies that drives academic success for all students, inclusivity, advocate all policies to ensure that regardless of their backgrounds, they should receive a good quality of education. I will also work on the mental health and well-being and prioritize those type of programs which will support the students and their mental health and recognize its vital role in the academic wellness. Other than that, I will think about community engagement, like getting the feedback from parents and getting collaborative terms from the parents putting it in the forums and see how I can put my, how I can take their questions and put it in front of board and see what can I do for the students. And like, other than that, I will say I need more of the teachers' development. Like, I will promote the professional growth of teachers and staff, as their quality is crucial to student success. Anti-bullying initiatives, like commit to providing a safe and supportive environment for all students, addressing bullying and promoting overall well-being. Technology integration, advocate to use modern technology to improve educational experiences wherever it is possible. Other than that, I will say that I'll focus if given a chance. I will not say that if given a chance, I'll be trying this way, or else I'll volunteer, which I was doing before also. Thanks for this opportunity.
That's great. Thank you. No. There it goes. Okay. Yeah, that was one of the things that I was going to mention along the way too, is that obviously not everybody up here is going to get elected, and those who don't, I said this same thing to the city council people, that, you know, you've kind of made a big stride into engaging on a new level with the community, and it however you pursue that, even if you're not in elected office, you know, you're going to benefit the community. So I applaud all of your efforts. And Samik. There we go.
Great. Good evening. My name is Samik Modi. I've lived in Hanson in Mountain House since 2015. There, my wife and I are raising our two sons who currently attend Hanson Elementary School as a kindergartner and second grader. You know, one of the things that I'm most proud of is I've been publicly educated my whole life, right? So I grew up in Chicago, and I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, undergrad, and graduate college, all through public education. And I have learned the value that public education can provide for all of us as an individual, but also the opportunities that it provides for all students, regardless of their background or their upbringing. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I am running to be on our school board, is to help ensure that the opportunity that Lammersville has provided for so many students so far continues to do that going into the future. From a work standpoint, and sorry, I should mention that I do have, you know, I've got a bachelor's degree as well as an MBA, which I think will help me in this role, should I be elected. At work, I work for a large alcoholic beverage manufacturer locally, and I've actually rotated and have experience in HR, finance, marketing, and IT. So I have a well-established track record, regardless of the domain, of bringing successful projects to fruition, managing large teams, and even helping manage a budget of up to $160 million, which is a little bit on par with what the district budget is. In addition, as part of my role, we are working with AI and technology vendors on a constant basis. There's a lot of parallels that can be brought into our school systems as well, to make sure that our students are well equipped for the world that they will soon go into. You know, my involvement in the community has been consistent since we moved here, right? I always like to put my time first and try to understand how things are running and how things operate before trying to take a change. It's one of the reasons why, you know, I've been here for nearly 10 years, and just now I'm willing to run for this office, because I wanted to take some time to understand how the school board was operating. I've been a frequent attendee at board meetings. I think that's well documented. In addition, I served for 4 years on our bond oversight committee for the first high school expansion. In addition, I have volunteered for several years for a program called 6 Cups of Coffee, which helps first-generation college students understand the process to go to college as the first generation in their family. You know, as far as what I think I could bring to the school board, right? I think in general, one of the things I do want to state is the school board is pretty well run, right? This is not a school board or a district that is in shambles or that our schools are failing, right? The men and women who have served on the school board should be commended for what has been achieved. All the awards that are bestowed upon our school is the hard work of the district staff, the teachers, the educators, and the school staff, and they should be commended for that. The biggest reason why I decided to step in now is, as Bryan alluded to, the new districting that was put forth left an open seat for the area that I live in. So there was no incumbent on the school board for my district. I thought that I had the skills, the qualification, and the experience to bring a positive input and contribution to the school board. The biggest things that I do want to advocate for while on the school board is increasing transparency between decisions that are made by the school district and the schools with parents. Oftentimes it's difficult to go back, read minutes, watch videos. I think there's better ways that that can be achieved, as well as advocate for our IEP programs. And I understand there's a lot of frustration from families that do try to get an IEP plan for their students. And I think there's opportunities for improvement there as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, so we have the 3 districts. And we've got you set up so people can see that we're doing that. And Ms. Lisa.
So thank you, Bryan, for coordinating this discussion tonight. And thank you to Zaytech Academy for hosting. It's an honor to be here. I am Lisa Boulay. I'm a governing board trustee for Lammersville Unified School District. I've been in this position for 3.5 years, and I am running unopposed in the November election for the board trustee seat for Area 3, which includes Wickland Village and a portion of Bethany Village. I've been living in Mountain House since October of 2004, so in just a few days, it'll be a solid 20 years.
Wow.
So almost since the very beginning. I have 3 children who attended Wickland Elementary School. They started as kindergartners and are now alumni of Mountain House High School. My youngest is a senior at Mountain House High School this year. So essentially, for the past 16 years, I've had a student in Lammersville Unified School District. I've been a parent volunteer during those 16 years. I spent countless hours volunteering in the classroom, working with parent-teacher organizations, organizing fundraisers, coaching Science Olympiad, and coaching speech and debate. And as my kids got older and they didn't need me volunteering as much, I thought, well, I still want to contribute to the school district. And there was an open position on the school board when I came on. And so just like Mr. Modi said, this was a great opportunity for me. And so I have been serving in this capacity for 3.5 years, just in a different perspective than in the classroom. But working in the classroom gave me some great insight into some of the strengths and weaknesses of the district. And so I thought those experiences would really help me as a board member. In the last 3.5 years, I worked really hard to ensure educational excellence, to ensure student equity, faculty and staff report, support fiscal responsibility, and open communication with parents and the community. One of the things that is important in this role as a trustee is our own professional development as a governing board trustee. And so I have completed all 5 of the Masters in Governance classes that are hosted by the California School Boards Association, and I do attend their annual conferences. And there's just a wealth of information that you can get from these classes and conferences, and it really helps build who you are as a board trustee. It helps you to learn what the role is, what we can do and what we can't do. So if whoever comes on the board, certainly look for those opportunities because they're amazing. I am also a military veteran. I served as an Army officer for 15 years. So I do have formal leadership training and definitely unique leadership experiences through the military. In terms of my day job, I am a registered nurse. And even though I am running unopposed in this election, I do take this campaign seriously. And I think it's important for people to know who I am. Even though we are broken into districts, we make decisions for the entire district, for all the schools, not just for our individual district. So it's important for the voters to know who we all are. I want the voters to know that I'm a hard worker and that I am dedicated to continuing my professional development as a school board trustee. Finally, I do want to thank all the candidates for being here tonight. I want to thank you for your courage and your willingness to serve our district students. I know running an election campaign is very time consuming. It takes a lot of energy. And being a trustee is a big responsibility and commitment. So I do appreciate your interest and your willingness to serve our district, and I wish you all the best of luck.
So much. What Lisa didn't mention is she used to jump out of helicopters as a medic, right?
I didn't jump. I stayed in the
Oh,
helicopter.
did you? Well, thank you all. That was most informative. Good first step here. And at the end, we'll come back around and let you all talk a couple minutes more and explain why people should vote for you. Okay, so as all of the, is that me? As all of the LUSD board business occurs at the board meetings, consistent participation and prioritizing meeting attendance would seem to be a vitally important aspect for all board members, for any and all scheduled board meetings, excuse me. Lammersville Unified School District trustees also sit on two to three committees each, which hold regular meetings and then are expected to report back to the board on progress and activity. Considering your own professional career and personal life, I just want to go through and have you each address, are you fully prepared and committed to attending all the regularly scheduled board meetings as well as the committee meetings, obviously with exceptions due to family emergencies and that sort of thing. And how important and or feasible do you believe it is for you to attempt to maintain 100% participation? Let's go this way this time. We'll start with Lisa. A couple minutes, do you think that good?
Sure. Thank you, Brian. So again, I have been on the board for 3.5 years, and I have not missed a single board meeting. Again, this is where the work gets done at the board meetings. This is where the discussions happen. This is where we get the information. This is where the decisions are made when we vote on things. So I do think it's important. I schedule vacations around board meetings. So I haven't missed one board meeting. We do have 19 board meetings a year. So there's not a lot. And I think as trustees, we are role models for our students, and we do expect our students to be at school at least 96% of the time. So just missing one meeting, we're already below that 96%. I feel like, if we expect the students to do something, we should do our best to kind of do what we expect of them. So I have attended all the meetings, and out of all the committee meetings that I have been on over the few years, I did miss one committee meeting, but I am committed definitely to attending our board meetings and being a part of the decision-making. But also, there's a lot of work that goes into attending the meetings because there's a packet of information, and sometimes it's a few hundred pages. So in addition to attending the meetings, it's important that we're prepared and read the materials before we get to the meeting so that we can make informed decisions. And I have done that, and sometimes the 180 pages of information is not all that exciting, but I get through it. Thank you.
Yes, I've read a lot of that too. It can be pretty dry. Oh, did that go? Maybe I didn't start it. All right. Can you see it from there?
No, that's okay.
Do your thing.
Sure. So off the bat, I don't have any existing conflicts that would prohibit me from attending the board meetings as scheduled throughout the year, as well as the committee meetings. There have been several school hosted meetings that I've attended. The parent workshops that Ben Faubert facilitates, I've frequently attended those. So I don't see an issue with attending the board meetings or the committee meetings as assigned. But I also think it's an opportunity for us to think about how we can increase participation, even if someone is out of town and is unable to attend in person. How can you leverage technology that exists out there, similar to other government bodies do, to enable people to join and participate, given that we have the advancements in remote technology. And that would also allow some parents to also participate and be involved in those processes as well. Thank you.
Good point. I think I'm figuring it out. Can you see that okay?
Yeah. So
as I mentioned, when I'm taking this opportunity, I will dedicate my 100% to this, along with my work and along with taking care of my family also. So other than the emergency, if there is, I will try and I will continue to support this LSUD district. 100% I will give my efforts to it.
There you go.
As I mentioned earlier, I've been on the board for more than 14 years. It was 14 years last June. And in that time, there's been, give or take, 300 board meetings. I've missed 2. In that time, there's also been dozens and dozens of committee meetings. I've rarely missed a committee meeting. And there are also other commitments, as Trustee Boulay mentioned. The packet is many times 300 or more pages, and it's our duty to go over the entire packet and give staff any questions ahead of time so that they can be prepared to give us accurate and educated answers to those questions. I see no reason that I would begin missing meetings in the future, so thank you.
Thank you.
Can we clap for your attendance rate?
Yeah, that is impressive. Ready? Sorry.
Hi. I'm certainly committed to be a participant and attend all the board meetings, and also to be representing the committees that I have taken ownership on. I think this is a big responsibility, and I'm committed to it. And certainly, as Samik mentioned on the panel, we are in a day and age when technology is biggest part of our lives. So we need to also see how to effectively use technology to increase participation, and also, let people participate in the board meetings as well. So I'm a huge advocate of, having technology as part of our board meetings. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right. There was an addendum to that, but it would have been a simple thing. So let's move on. What I'd like to have you each do is describe what your top priority would be in working on the Board of Trustees should you be elected for this next 4-year term. So that can even apply to people that have been on the board for 14 years. What will be your next? Let's start with you, Mr. Pombo. We'll do 2 minutes, and you can talk about your top priority, and then we'll dance around from there.
My top priority on the board has been and always will be maintaining educational excellence, while at the same time ensuring the safety, health, and welfare of our students. And when I say welfare, I mean physical welfare, mental welfare, and emotional welfare. I've served on the Safety Committee and Wellness Committees for many years. I'm no longer on the Wellness Committee, but I continue my work on the Safety Committee and the Education Committee, and just maintaining what we have and striving for more. I feel like there's, no matter how good we get, and I think we're pretty good, I think there's always room for improvement in a lot of areas. There's no such thing as perfection, but striving for perfection is what I like to do.
Great, thank you. I think we'll stay in District 1, and Sareka, if you want to answer the same question for us, that'd be great.
Yeah. So, my top priority as a board member is definitely to make sure student well-being and safety is the #1 priority, because that is one of the biggest challenge for us as a school district. We need to have safe schools for that, so that our students can have a safe learning environment. So far, we are doing a great job as a school district. That said, if we look at the challenges other school districts all over the country are facing, I think we need to be constantly equipped in the way we really use technology or constantly learn on how we, prepare ourselves and make sure kids don't worry when they are at school, right? That means, extra preparedness in terms of the different level of, preparedness. It could be lockdown or any kind of a drills required. We need to constantly evaluate. We cannot be resting that, we are done with this. So that is something, my number one priority. The second would be to certainly give more focus to special needs education, because there is a lot of concerns among the families where the special needs resources, we need more funding, we need more training for the staff, because these kids need more help. And I think if there is no committee for this right now, it's time we need to have a special committee to cater to our special needs kids. So that is my number two priority, and certainly the big priority. And the other is to be a voice for all communities. I want to make sure I represent all the communities, including the new communities, because now that we got as part of the districting exercise, we have more options to bring the voice from across all the communities to the table, and I want to be that voice at the board. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Rama, we'll go to you, then we'll come to Samik. Perfect use of the time there. Oh, good.
Yeah, as I mentioned, in my top priorities, the safety will be there. As I have seen recently, some incidents happen. So we should make our kids aware, the parents aware, and that type of safety we should bring voluntarily. We can add cross guidance, which I have added recently. So I will add more of these type of things. Even in the schools, I want, like Surekha mentioned, that we should bring more trainings to them, drills, so that kids know that how the safety can be done along with the teachers and all. The other thing is bringing education, good education. We know that there are brilliant students. There are all types of students should be given a good education. For that, I want the teachers and staff to be given good quality of trainings so that they provide the same type of education to the kids. So those are my priorities. And as I mentioned, that I will take the questions from the parents in the forum. I'll create some forums or take their questions, the feedbacks, and bring it to the board and try to improvise where we are lacking. It is all, I'm getting the questions, but I will not guarantee that 100% will be fulfilled on the first day of the job. It will take some time, but as I have seen the community growing, so I want to improvise all those wherever possible. I'll try to volunteer and I will put my time, effort, everything to bring and build the community.
That's great, thank you. Odie?
So first, as has been mentioned, right, Lammersville and all of its schools do really well educationally. And I think it's paramount that we maintain that educational excellence. It's probably one of the largest reasons that many of us have made investments in Mountain House and decided to raise families here. So that I think is number one. Number two is, ensuring that opportunity is accessible to everyone, right, including those that do need an IEP plan, as I mentioned in my opening. And then on the other, I've talked to families who have an IEP plan for their student in our district and the challenges and the frustration that they faced. I think there's opportunities for us to be one of the leading districts in the area so that parents look to our district and move into our district because of the IEP program that we can have versus some families who unfortunately have moved away because of some of the frustration that they faced. In addition, I think if you think about GATE programs, right, there are districts surrounding us that have GATE opportunities at lower level grades than we do currently. I think that's an opportunity for us to explore given the unbelievable talent that we have within the community. All of this is not possible without supporting our staff and our teachers who deliver the education and interact with our students on a daily basis. So making sure that they feel supported, they've got the tools, the trainings, the resources, the technology that they feel they need in order to succeed with our students is also extremely important. I also mentioned, communication. I think oftentimes, I just went through as a relatively new parent of kids in the district with younger kids. going through the registration process, going through where I got to submit forms. Sometimes you go to the website and it's just a question mark. And finding ways to better make the district accessible and informative to parents is beneficial for both, the entire community. Lastly, as was mentioned, we've got new schools that are being built, high school expansions, new sports fields being built. Having an MBA, I can help understand the financial implications that we will face. Thank you.
It's great. Right.
Thank you. As a school board trustee, when we make our decisions are always based on what is best for students. And I think we do a great job with educational excellence. So that is my top priority, educational excellence. But as Mr. Moody said earlier, we do a really good job with that. But that includes student equity, student well-being, student safety. Definitely there are areas that we can improve. But as trustees, and Mr. Pombo referred to this earlier, is we can be advocates for how our school district is funded, because as, again, Mr. Pombo mentioned, we are one of the lowest funded school districts in the state. We are the lowest funded unified school district in San Joaquin County, yet we are the highest performing school district in the county. And routinely, we are getting mandates from the state to do this or to do that or to do this or to do that, and we are not funded for those mandates. So all of those things that are required of us are coming out of the general fund, which is what we use for the students and for educational excellence. So as school board trustees, one of our roles is to be an advocate. So this is where we reach out to our politicians, and we reach out to people at the state level, and we reach out to people at the federal level to see how we can get more money for these programs and really fight for our students, because honestly, the more money we have in our district, the better we can serve our students, the more programs we have, which really feeds into student excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. It really is pretty remarkable how well this district has done considering the lack of funding and building schools. The whole thing that happens is amazing. One thing, though, that I've heard over the years, and my kids are grown. I don't have kids in the school district. So for me, all I can do is gain information and knowledge from all of you and from people in the community to know how life is with the kids and what they're doing. One of the things I do hear a lot of issues with over the years, have heard over the years, is with regard to the special education, like you brought up. It seems that there's been considerable backlash over the years for the district's special education program, that it's just not, I've always assumed that it has a lot to do with the funding, that there may not be enough funding available for it. But the special education system needs more attention. So it's been sort of, the backlash has been that it's inadequate. So what I would ask is, do you agree with that assessment? Is that fair? Is it accurate? And how would you rate the quality of this essential program within LUSD? Also, what do you see can be done to effectively improve the breadth and depth of services for students with special needs? Whether it's hire more special education teachers, or dedicate or locate more available resources. And Ms. Shaker, I think we'll start with you since you brought that up before. So.
Yeah, certainly. So, so what I have heard, again, during my interaction with parents and friends with special needs kids is, first thing is, they are struggling to even get the evaluation for their kids. Sometimes they are denied evaluation by the staff, saying, no, your kid doesn't need any kind of a special need resources. You don't need to be evaluated. So that is one concern. I think, definitely, there's something improvement we can do. One is either the staff can, if they observe that the child needs some special help, that needs to be brought to the attention of the parent and the principal. And if the parent is requesting for an evaluation, I think we need to support. That is, one of the things which I've heard. The next is, the classes are crowded. This is again a concern by a parent in the district. And then the teachers some of the teachers possibly are not trained well enough to handle the needs of those special need child, right? This is a special skill. They need to have social, emotional, learning curve themselves, because as a parent, as a teacher, handling a normal, a regular child is different from handling a child with special needs, right? You need to take care of them from a space of empathy, kindness, and patience, a lot of patience. So, we need to give more training and resources to our teachers so they are fully there. A lot of times I've also heard the teachers themselves are frustrated, and there's a lot of turnover in the special needs teachers because they're frustrated that they don't have enough resources in terms of training, and their voices are not heard. So I think, these are some, challenges and opportunities for us to be better as a district. I know, coming from San Ramon district, they do have a pretty well-defined program. Now, I don't know where they stand, but, if as a district we can learn from how others have done, I think that's an opportunity for us to collaborate and take those lessons and do better. And I don't think this needs much funding. It's more about, allocating the resources, giving proper training to the staff, so, and collaborating with the parent and the teacher community. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Pombo, I think we'll go to you. And having been on the board longer than anybody, you probably have a lot more information about this.
Yes. First off, I would like to say that I believe there is more that we can do in our special ed program. I think we can do a better job in how we handle our special ed students. That being said, I think there's room for improvement in just about everything in the district. Mr. Harrison mentioned the funding, and our special ed budget is just over $12 million a year. And our revenue to pay for it, the money the government gives us to run it, is about $8 million. So we have a $4.5 million a year deficit in the special ed program, which comes from the general fund, which is limited because Lammersville School District gets 63% of the average per student funding from all sources here in the state of California. Districts like LA Unified, which gets 136% of the state average, get a lot more money. We get just over $14,000 per student a year. They get over 30, which is $500,000 per classroom extra that LA Unified gets as compared to what we get. And I understand that the cost of living may be higher in LA Unified, but it's not 2.15 times higher. And so, while I do agree there's more that we can do, there is a huge issue with funding. I spoke with Congressman Harder this morning about the lack of our funding, and especially when it comes to special ed, because that's a lot of the funding for special ed comes from the federal government. I also talked with our county superintendent, Troy Brown, today about special ed funding, because they handle a portion of the special ed funding. Also, through my work with CSBA, the California Association of School Boards, I'm in contact with state representatives in the Assembly and Senate constantly about the lack of funding for our district, and I feel like that's one of the reasons I want to stay on the board, is because I have some both institutional knowledge about what goes on, and also contacts that can help our district be better funded in the future.
So just to address that, you serve as the representative for the district to the state? the CSBA?
I
Is that-
serve as a CSBA delegate for District 8, which we're part of, and there are approximately 250 CSBA delegates across the state, of which I am one.
An important role. Would you like to, we can move through and let everybody address that same question with regard to special education. I think it's valuable to hear everybody's perspective.
So as I'm hearing, there is lack of funding. But with the given funds, how we can improvise it, how we can train our teachers. We have to listen to the parents, what is happening, listen to the teachers, and then bring a collaborative thing which we can do with less funding. Because we are trying to get the funds, but there is a limit or whatever is given. With the given amount, how we can improvise is what I will look forward to see. That is my case study to do for the special ed kids. That's how I can improvise. But as I'm saying, day one, I cannot do anything. After getting in, from the outside, the world is very green. But when you get in, you will know where you stand.
Where you stand, yeah.
Yes. So I'm not doing any promises, but I have to go learn about the system and then do what I can do on that. That's what I can talk about the
Yeah,
special ed.
that's honest.
It's not only special ed, anything, which programs we are running, what are the programs? There are different types of programs running in different schools in the same districts what we have. Like being in Cuesta, I had my kids passed out from those elementary schools. They had some different programs like Science Olympiad, Math Olympiad. But when I come to Hanson, they have other GATE programs and all, which are not there. Some of the programs, they said that HUSA is also there in Hanson because they have volunteers. But as a parent volunteer, I have seen that there were some drawbacks which we cannot bring everything to the schools. All schools are not same. All schools doesn't have the same programs in it. So getting in, I want to see what we can do for all the schools, including the special ed. Because there are kids in all the schools, the special ed kids I have seen, but we have to understand how it is. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Want to weigh in on this? You want to weigh in on it too?
Sure.
It was sort of a rhetorical question.
I've mentioned IEP plans and, students who might be on a 504 plan as one of the opportunities for our district. I think it's pretty well known that over the last few years, we've had high staff turnover in our special ed program. We've had a lot of frustrated parents, and it's an area of opportunity. I think step one is acknowledging that there's something that we need to do differently than what we've doing thus far, because we haven't had the turnaround that we would hope for, given the time frame for which these issues have persisted. So I think recognizing that is step number one. There's always going to be a funding issue, no matter what the issue is, whether special ed or sports or building facilities. There's always going to be a funding restraint. That's just the world we all live in. I think it's how we take that funding restraint and try to address it, as others on this stage have said. But on the other side as well is to live within that restraint. What's the best we can do to make sure that our parents and families feel supported by the district when they try to have special education needs met for their children that are in the district. So I think there's more to do. I'm not going to be here and pretend that I know everything about this program and how it operates. I don't. That's one of the things that I want to focus on if elected, and it's something that I'm committed to trying to make an impact if elected. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Good.
Thank you. Special education is definitely a priority in our school district, and we are always constantly monitoring our student population, the classes that we have at the different schools, and looking at the human resource needs that we have, including behavioral specialists, speech and language pathologists, school psychologists, and teachers, teacher aides. We do have classes for our teacher aides, orientation classes before they start school to make sure that they have the tools they need. I know that our director of special ed is sending teachers to conferences. I think part of it is one of the things in why we might have a revolving door in some of these positions is because there's a shortage. There's a shortage of speech language pathologists. There's a shortage of psychologists. And so we have to contract out with third party vendors for these positions. So in some regard, that's why there's a little bit of movement with the personnel and with the staff and with the support services. But yeah, absolutely, I think we need more. And I know this is not appeasing to probably anybody in our district, but I feel like this is not just a problem at Lammersville. I think it's a problem throughout with special education. I hear a lot of other districts that have very similar problems to what we have. But we do need to focus on what we can do, make sure we get the best people in the right positions and make sure they're trained. Thank you.
It's a difficult subject no matter what you do with it. And I can see from my perspective why you'd have a lot of turnover, just because it is that difficult and there's a lot of stress involved. And so I commend every effort that there's made with that. Let's shift gears a little bit. One of the biggest tasks that the LUSD Board of Education trustees will face in the next several years will be the development of 3 more K-8 schools that are soon to be developed, not all at the same time, but over the next several years in the Lake districts north of Byron, what are now neighborhoods J, I, and K, right? L won't have one. But what I want to know is, what experience or knowledge do you bring to the types of issues that will need to be dealt with to accomplish this monumental undertaking? And whether that knowledge needs to come with you or if that's something that you can pick up along the way. Ms. Boulay, let's start with you, just because you've got a little bit of experience with this.
Thank you. So as a board trustee, luckily we have amazing people at the district level that handle all of the nuances of opening a new school. So Dr. Nicholas, our superintendent, has opened 4 or 5 schools since he's been here, and he does amazing things with finding the finances for those schools. He's like a magician, because I think that's one of the most challenging pieces, is finding where the money is coming from for these schools. A K-8 school we're projecting is going to be $60 million, and that's just for one school. So we have 3 more. So he's also a great educator. I had absolutely no experience in financing a school, construction, design, and everything else that goes along with it. But now I have been a part of opening Evelyn Costa. So a lot of the decisions, though, are decisions that you get a lot of background information, and our district staff is really good about keeping us updated on what's going on, what changes are happening, et cetera, and if there's any delay in construction, et cetera. So really, we rely on our district staff for that, and Dr. Nicholas has tons of experience, and so we really are fortunate to have him in our district. Thank you.
Can we just go?
Yeah, sure.
So I don't have direct experience in opening any new schools. I think that's fair to say. I think there's 2 things. One is, of the many board meetings that I've attended, one of the things that has struck me, and I still remember it, is when Dr. Nicholas said, when he took this role, he didn't realize that he would have half of his role be working on construction of schools. And I think that just serves his testament to how much effort he's put in to learn the methodology, the nuances, the complexity of opening schools in the district. And even just as a community member attending that board meeting, I am able to learn so much of what that process looks like. As Ms. Boulay said, the district seems to have done a great job in the past schools that have opened. My only experience that I would venture to say has a connection here is just vendor management, right? We've done a lot of external vendors, third-party vendors. Our company has built a $400 million facility on the East Coast over the last 3 years. And even just working with vendors, even a small part of that has given me some experience and some insight into some of the issues that you may face from construction and labor and natural disasters. And weather and other impacts that there may be. But again, I think if we have got great district staff, as has been shown over the last few schools that we've built, I suspect that it will just be supporting them and ensuring that they've got everything they need to build 3 more successful, awesome schools for our children.
Thank you. If everybody wants to address that, let's just do it, I guess. Huh?
If you want to direct some to just a few of us, like,
Yeah, we can probably do that too.
but
Yeah, I just want to give everybody a chance to speak, but yeah, we can certainly do that.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah, thank you. Ms. Rama, yes.
From my experience, I don't have the knowledge of building and things, but I can help. I need to know after I get in, know about the groundwork. I have seen Dr. Nicholas working on all the schools till now. There were some challenges. The date of opening has postponed because there are some approvals, something in the ground they found, and the construction stops because they need to get extra approvals and that sort of things. I will put my efforts in it, but I will not say that I can do everything on my own. So
That's fair.
that's my.
That's fair, yeah.
Thank you.
In my time on the board, Lammersville Unified has built and opened 4 K-8s, a high school, and numerous ancillary facilities. I have learned a lot over the past 14 years in school construction and finance and all the rest of it, and I'm eager to lend my knowledge to the building of the 3 that remain to be built.
Thank you.
With regards to me, I can use my engineering skills if required, to give my inputs with respect to the design of the school. And as an educator, parent, and a community advocate, I will certainly speak for the community and make sure the schools built certainly cater to the capacity requirements, and also the playground and amenities are really, top notch and really up to the mark, because we do see some amount of, the gaps in especially newer schools, and also some work need to be done with regard to older school where their amenities need to be brought to, the same level. So those are the areas where I can give my inputs. Thank you.
Which that would include the Lammersville school that would be part of your district. Thank you all. That was kind of a question that you're not going to have a lot of direct answers to, because like you said, Dr. Nicholas pretty much heads that up, but I learned something from all of you. That was good. I didn't really have this on here, but I feel like it needs to be addressed because I've been concerned about it, and I don't even have kids in the schools. When Mountain House was first being considered and developed with the master plan, originally I learned just maybe 5 years ago that originally there were 2 high schools supposed to be in the system, each with 46 acres, as I recall. And somewhere the calculations were made to decide that we could get by with 1. But they didn't give you guys any more land. You still got 46 acres. You did get 19 more acres just a couple of years ago, whenever that was, that will help a lot so that you can expand the current high school. I guess the question I have is, do you see that we're going to be able to go almost double the size of the city at build out and still get by with 1 high school? Mr. Pombo, I'll go to you on that because I think you would probably have the insider's knowledge.
Well, we aren't almost doubling the size. We have 3 more schools to build, and we have 8 K-8s currently, so that's less than half.
Okay, fair enough.
Even
Yeah.
if you take Lammersville out of the equation, it's still less than half. So there's that. I will address the issue of 1 high school versus the 2 that were originally in the master plan. That is unfortunately one of the many things that the county and the developers decided on before Mountain House had any residents to have any input on. the one high school we got, although the acreage is not double, we did double the capacity of the one high school versus two high schools by adding more buildings, going two-story. In fact, we're building more buildings currently, and we may in the future build more buildings on the 19 acres. But aside from those possibilities, I don't know how we could afford to build a second high school. The funding just isn't there. If Mountain House expands beyond its current borders, which I believe there's some pressure to do, then that would be a discussion to have at that time, because I believe that with the right expansion and stuff with our current facilities, we can handle the growth that's projected now. But adding growth beyond what's in the pipeline now is going to cause an issue.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue. Thank you. That puts my mind a little bit at ease. And I imagine a lot of people. Does anybody else want to address that?
So, just looking at the influx of population into Mountain House over the past 2-3 years, that's unprecedented. I don't think, we had planned, right? In fact, the city was not ready, the school district was not ready, the amount of, people moving this side, right? And more houses will get built, and there is more demand, right? And more knowledge workers are coming to this side because Lammersville Unified District is one of the top districts, right? And still the houses are affordable compared to rest of the Bay Area. That means definitely we'll see more developers going to build more houses. And I think, we need to be having that foresight and vision to start planning for, the second high school. I know in my perspective, I know we are planning the extension, but we cannot, say that, this is where it's going to stop. I think we need to start looking at that option going forward and, potentially even starting conversation with the developers.
Interesting, yeah. Anybody else? Yeah, you guys want to chime in? That's great. They do 2 minutes?
Maybe we won't need it. The one thing that I would say is, as we, as Mr. Pombo said, based on current, growth projections, the one high school with the anticipated expansion could handle it. I'm going to trust the numbers at face value for that. One thing that's worth realizing is, the city and the developers keep wanting to add more housing even within our existing footprint in Mountain House. So just this past week or last week, they approved 300 more homes that were zoned commercial and now are zoned residential. So those are and they're not senior housing. So those are homes that will be occupied by assumingly new families who will send their kids to Lammersville schools. We've taken senior over 55 housing zoned as over 55 and turned that into non-over 55. So those residential housing units that you wouldn't expect to have students attending Lammersville schools will now have students attending Lammersville schools. So even within the district boundaries, even if we don't expand, we still face pressure every time we rezone into more residential units. And while the current math may show that we can accommodate for it, it's always going to be something that pushes on that limit every single time we make a rezoning decision. It's one of the reasons I've been concerned about it. I've spoken up about it at city council meetings. And I think that we need to look way more into the future than we currently do so that we don't get into another situation similar to at the high school where we're going to have students walking from the main campus to the new sports fields where they have to cross through Cortez, cross Phelps, and get to their sports fields, which is just distance for them to make it back and forth. So I think we just need to be a little bit more thoughtful into the future, because as decisions that we're making today end up, once you build on land, you can't get that land back. You cannot demolish, we're not going to go do, force government, take back of the land and rebuild it. So once houses are built on that land, we can't take it back. We do have to live within the constraints that we create for ourselves. And I think that's where more collaboration is needed between the district and the city.
Thank you.
So two big things that you need for a high school is a lot of land and a lot of money. Dublin Unified just built a new high school this year. I think it was, what, 460 million? So it's expensive. We don't have the land. We don't have the money for a new high school. And so what we have to do is work with what we have. And so we are building these two new buildings that should open next year and will serve an additional 400 to 500 kids. And then there is still room on the current piece of land where our high school is, where we can start planning it more buildings that will house more kids. It is unfortunate that we don't have that second high school, but it's hard to plan for a second high school when we don't have the money, we don't have the funding. Again, it's good.
Or the land.
460 million, that was this year. So if we're looking 5 years into the future, that might be 600 million. That's a lot of money that we're struggling to find 60 million for K through 8 schools that we do have planned. So finding money is a big thing. And again, there's no land. So I can't predict the future. I don't know what will happen. I'm looking at to see what we have and where we can do the best with what we have.
Good. Rama, do you want to say something? Please.
So as we are seeing that the builders are changing the plans. Previously, it was something when I came, I moved in 2010. They said that these are the lands, these are the houses, this is the buildings, commercial, and so on. The things get changed. And with that, we are adding a lot of, as new residents, new houses are coming, new people are moving. And the houses also, they are building in two models, like they have casita, where there are second family also, like number of kids in the house can be more. So thinking of all those, we should plan for it. But as we are seeing that there is a deficit in fund, not only fund, there is no land. So we have to plan in that such a way that the current building only we have to enhance. Like I'm seeing Hanson is a 2-story building. Something we have to do in the present land only to build more rooms, more space, so that we can adjust the kids in that. Not only kids, we need to get professional, teachers and staff we need to add. So all this we have to plan properly so that we give our kids a good education and it is attractive, like we are placing ourselves in the top list. But the same way we have to build means keep that same momentum. So that's what I will plan for it.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't mean to sound an alarm about that, but it's something that's been a concern. And I know that the projections overall, there will probably come a point when you don't have as many young families here, that then you might have schools that are empty. And so you do have to account for that too. I realize all that. So anyway, let's move back into curriculum and stuff. Sureka, your platform includes a development of more STEAM initiatives across all grades, you said. Can you describe what specifically that might entail?
So that means, to bring in more STEAM programs into the school district, because, during my interaction with families, I do hear that, we need to encourage more kids into STEM. And also, to kind of bring in more inclusion and diversity in that. What I say is there are certain kids, who might do well with, STEM education, whereas some other kids who might just shy away for the fact that, either they don't have awareness or not much support, either it could be in their own family or maybe they don't have access to the resources to kind of even, have more curiosity to think on the, STEM learning. So we need to kind of address that gap. And even if it means, helping girls and boys and even, across, other minority communities, it could be anything, right? So we need to make sure everybody has access to STEM education. And one of my experience is last year there was a San Joaquin County STEAM Fair for K to 12 grades. And, I noticed that, my daughter being in a third grade, she didn't have an opportunity to participate in the fair. Then I had to, work with the PTA and the principal and make sure that the school kids, especially in the elementary, got an opportunity to participate in the STEAM fair. So I did see even some of the other schools kids at elementary grade didn't have an opportunity to participate, while the Sanokeen STEAM fair is for all the grades. So we need to streamline those initiatives which are coming from the county, and we need to maybe add more STEAM programs, because we need to prepare our workforce for the future generation, right? So because looking at the way the technology is evolving, we need STEM. And it only requires to ignite the curiosity among the children. So we need to provide that learning at the younger age, and that is something I'm going to be advocating for.
Great. Does somebody want to discuss that too?
First of all, I would like to applaud you for the initiative you took in introducing STEAM to your campus. I would also like to point out that STEAM and a lot of other programs require parental involvement, volunteers, and so on and so forth. And that is why we have HOSA at some K-8 campuses, but not all, and other programs that we have at some campuses, but not all, is because we don't have a teacher can assist, they can't run the entire program. And so without parent involvement, without parent volunteers to get these things rolling and to get them continuing, we can't do it. We can't stretch our teachers that thin to offer everything at every school. We need to have parent involvement. And as I said, thank you for that.
Go for it.
So, as I mentioned, my daughter just graduated from her elementary school. I have seen, I have been coaching Science Olympiad, Math Olympiad. Last year, because of parent volunteer, like as David mentioned, parents should volunteer there. They were no. In the starting, they say that, teacher send the form, you have to coach 3 at least. They will write it down. But end of the first month only, I will not see parents involving there. Because they feel that it's an extra commitment. So that type of parents should come forward. Teachers cannot do. Teachers have a limit. They have their own families. They have their time. And the funding, what we do for teachers is so much. Either you support the teachers by giving your volunteer hours, or there are some places where you have to fund, like you have to put your money also as a parent to bring those programs into your school. So I will say to the community saying that come forward along with your kids. If they want these type of programs, they should put their hours. We are not saying that give your 100% there. Just give 1 hour of it. Coach them. Or try to know what is going on. Ask teacher, do you need any help in that? And that way, we can bring all type of programs to the schools. That
Thank
is,
you.
parents, volunteers should be there. It's not only teachers can do that.
Great, thank you. I was thinking we'd go an hour and a half or so. We're at an hour and a half, and we still have closing statements. I do have more questions. Do you guys want to keep going?
I'll stay here as long as you want to keep asking.
Maybe a couple more questions, then we'll do our closing statements.
Sure.
I really appreciate the engagement, and everybody's been great. One thing that has blown my mind with our school district and the high school and the relationship to the fact that we have a college in town is the early college pathway, is that what it's called? Yes, early college pathway program. That just blows my mind that a kid can enroll in a situation where they can graduate high school and have an AA degree. I've heard some talk about that there's not enough education in the K through 8s on the higher levels so that the kids are ready to enter that program. And yet there's been tremendous success with it. So Lisa, maybe you can address for us what that whole situation looks like and where that really stands with the K through 8s moving into that position.
I haven't heard that. So and maybe I'm misunderstanding the question, but I haven't heard that. I do know
Like
that,
gate programs and things that will get the kids ready to enter into that program.
oh, okay. Honestly, I don't think you need to be in the GATE program to be ready for the college classes at Delta College. I think our middle schools do a really good job preparing our students. And in addition to the early college pathway program, our counselors work really well with the students that are in that program. And there is a doctor at Delta College that is actually very involved in that program as well. And they tailor classes specifically for high school students. So their first semester, one of the classes is like an orientation and to learn how to be in a college class and how to do the work and things like that. So they're kind of guided very well through the program. So it is successful. And they have changed the program a little so that you can actually get your AA degree, or you can get a certificate so you won't complete all of the classes, but you still have some college credits even before you graduate. There's also an opportunity for students who are not in the college pathway to take classes at Delta College. And it's dual credit. So if you want to take a history class at Delta College as a junior, you get credit for Mountain House High School, and you also get college credit for that. So when you do go to a 4-year program, you don't have to take that history class. But I think our schools do a really good job in terms of preparing the students. You definitely don't need to be a GATE student to be in those classes. I think our counselors do a really good job. The teachers at Delta College do a really good job. Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did. But
Okay.
I was also under the impression that it was an either or. You either got in the early college pathway program or you didn't.
No.
You're saying you can take college classes even if you're
Yes,
not part of that program.
a couple of my kids did that. So you can take college. I think one of my daughters took 4 classes, and again, and it's kind of nice because it opens your class schedule up for taking additional electives. So if you're in one of the CTE programs that that you need to take these classes for, and you want to take orchestra and a language, sometimes there's just not enough room in your class schedule because you've already met your 7 classes. So if you take a class in the summertime at Delta College, that frees up another class period for you during the year so that you can take a different elective.
Anybody else want to address that? Or, yeah.
So I will address that. As Lisa said, my daughter has she took some credits in the early college program, and then she dropped out from the early college saying that I have volleyball in my plate, and she used to do classical dance, but those credits were counted in high school. My younger one just started, and she was never in GATE programs, both of them, because Questa School never had that, but they were able to join that, and they are pursuing. My younger one is pursuing that. So there is no limitation, and counselors guide them. But there are some rules that you have to maintain your credits, or else you will be dropped out of the early college. If you are not maintaining your high school credits properly, then they will drop you out.
And I understand it's pretty intense if you're doing the whole program.
Yeah.
Right? But to be able to do some of it and not necessarily have to be in the whole engaged.
Yep.
um,
So
for the
that is how
degree,
they can free up and add their electives also. But there are both sides. You have to balance your high school with college.
Right.
Yep.
And leave time for them to be kids too. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And to add, they have a lot of extracurricular activities outside the world also. So they have to balance all those things in that. Not only they, as parents, we have to balance with them. Yep.
This is true.
I just
Oh, go
wanted
ahead.
to
Sorry.
Add a couple of things. You mentioned the K-8s feeding into the high school, and that was one of the things back in 2010 when we were going for unification. One of the reasons why I was most in favor of unification was the fact that there was vertical articulation. There could be vertical articulation between our K-8s and the high school, and the programs that we offer at the K-8s dovetail into what we offer at the high school, and that wasn't the case when we were sending our high school kids into Tracy. Another thing I wanted to touch on was the electives. Mountain House High School offers a 7-period day, which most high schools around offer only 6. So that 7th period gives our kids an opportunity for additional electives or additional classes of whatever they want. So that, along with the early college program that we have in conjunction with Delta College, allows our kids to take a ton of classes. And as Trustee Boulay mentioned, they can graduate with an AA degree, which means they can go to a 4-year college entering as a junior.
Yeah. It's pretty phenomenal, the
Anyway.
whole thing.
Very proud of all of it.
And I understand that our school in this district has been instrumental in kind of being a test market for the whole program in other schools. So I applaud all those efforts.
I would like to say also, I think there was an assembly bill on Governor Newsom's desk, and I don't know where it went, but it was about regards the same thing about with high schools, working with community colleges to get that program together, and we're just so ahead of that.
Also, adding to the point, the early college pathway with Delta College is a great program. Apart from that, there might be kids who are not interested to go to college or, pursue college. I think, partnering with Delta College at a high school level and being able to take the programs which will help them get into a future career, I think it's a great opportunity. I personally, I'm not aware of all the vocational programs there, but certainly we can look into, what are the programs which will help for the next jobs that, our kids are going to look for. Because with AI coming into the picture, some of the jobs are going to be, obsolete, right? So we need to retrain our workforce. So I think this is a great thing to look at.
It's true, and to not necessarily have to have the college degree, but to learn a vocation and whatever they're going to do. I think it's all good. Testing in schools. I mean, this district tests really well, right? I mean, isn't that one of the reasons that it's so successful, is that the kids test really well? Testing in schools generally, though, has become kind of a, I guess, controversial subject a little bit. Despite the remarkable test scores that this district has, a lot of kids don't learn that well that way. In your assessment, and I'll toss this out to whoever wants to address it, in your assessment, is this the most effective way to teach, or would you possibly advocate for other means of demonstrating student understanding? And if so, what might that look like?
I'll go first. I think just in education in general, testing seems to be something that has existed forever and likely is something that will remain. I think when you look at schools across the country, there ends up needing to be a way to measure student success and ability and achievement that is somewhat uniform, whether that's flawed or not flawed, right? So I'm not saying that the methodologies are perfect, but I don't see at least a near future where all testing is going to be eliminated and we learn in a different way. So with that being said, I think we do need to understand that students do learn in different ways and ensure that different students have the ability to absorb the knowledge and practice that learning in ways that may be more suitable to them versus other students. I think that's a really big opportunity for AI to come in and offer that. There's AI programs today where you can upload a PDF and it'll create a 2-person podcast solely based on that PDF or lecture that you've uploaded. And people may learn in a more audible way, especially at the older ages. So I think, understanding how students learn, it may be different, but also within the framework that they are going to largely be tested throughout their educational career, whether it's at Lammersville schools or beyond. And even when you get into the workforce and go for certificates for, AWS or Azure or any of these, AI certificates, there are tests at the end of that certificate program that you need to pass in order to get the badge that you can put on LinkedIn. So, testing is not going to go away. I think we need to just be a little bit more adaptive to how we interact with those students who may not test as well as others. My son came home, I think, last year with a MAP score that dropped. And I asked him what happened. He said, oh, there are kids playing basketball outside, so I got distracted. So there are going to be instances where students don't have a great test day and may not learn to the test, and I think there's opportunities for us to address that.
Anybody else?
I would just like to say that testing is a tool. It's a tool to understand how well our kids learn and understand things, but it's not the only tool. At the high school, for instance, we use mastery-based learning, which doesn't base their grade on test scores. It bases their grade on subject knowledge. And they can do projects in a myriad of ways to demonstrate knowledge, to demonstrate mastery of knowledge. It could be writing, it could be writing a song, it could be producing a film to demonstrate the concept. So there are a lot of ways. And unfortunately, the tool that is testing is something that the state relies on heavily in their evaluation of a student's knowledge. And so therein lies the rub. We want to teach our kids. We want them to be as knowledgeable as possible. We want them to gain all the knowledge possible, but the state wants to see what the score is. And so
Right.
that's an issue.
Sure.
Basically, the starting of the year, they do assessment to see how the students are. Not all students will be in the same level. So that type of education teacher can give to them. That is one. And later, these type of tests will promote them in their later years. Like when they have to give their MCATs or whatever, they have to do that exam in some limited time. That type of testing promotes them that they have to work in that pace to complete the given questions and to achieve their goals. So in a way, the testing gives the assessment results, but it also gives you how to speed yourself, how to add your knowledge more as per the students. And teacher also can give the way of same type of education to others, like she can form a group of the kids which are to balance them in the class.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think my take is, testing is mainly a benchmark tool, right? It gives awareness to the parents and the teachers to where the student stands vis-a-vis, their class or their peers. So it's an improvement opportunity. That's how I look at it. So that way the teacher knows which are the kids which need extra attention and which kids are above the mark. So there can be targeted learning curriculum or a learning group which can be provided to those teachers. That said, I think as a parent myself and an educator, I feel we still need to kind of rise above the test and look at the holistic learning and identify where the interest of the kid lies, right? A kid can be a great painter, a kid can be a great musician, but have very, very bad test scores. Now, right? So at the end of the day, what matters is the passion and where the kid enjoys, and where they want to spend their time. So I think it's very important for us as parents and also as teachers to identify those core strengths and let the parents know. I think that's how I would put it.
That's really great. Thank you all. Why don't we go ahead and move on to closing statements? Did we not cover something that should be covered? No, see? Good job. Let's go this way this time. We'll start with District 3 and then go District 2 and District 1.
Okay, thank you again, Bryan, for coordinating tonight's event and also to Zaytech Academy. It really is an honor to be here tonight and to have the respectful discussion on things that are important for our district and our students and our families. I do believe in academic excellence and ensuring the success of each and every student. That's a mouthful. within our district. I celebrate our wins, but I acknowledge that we have areas that need improvement. I do take my professional development seriously, and because I think that's important to be an informed board member. This job, it's not about prestige, the prestige of an elected position. It's about hard work and commitment to our students. And over the past 3 years, I've made conscious efforts to put our students first, to make sound decisions that will benefit our district and the educational excellence and success of our students. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, all of the candidates. It does take courage to be up here and to answer these questions. And I commend all of you. I know I will be working with a couple of you in the future, but I do hope everyone stays involved. And I am looking forward to another 4 years on Lammersville Unified School District Board. Thank you.
Very glad you were able to be here tonight, too. Thank you. Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Bryan, and thanks MHMatters and Zaytech Academy for being here. You know, I think thinking back to just how the district is made up of 5 trustees and the time that it takes to understand the issues and participate in the board meetings and the committee meetings and attend events to stay close to the community and the school is a lot of time. And I think I just commend everybody who's an existing board member, whether currently or in the past, for that time commitment that they've made, as well as the other candidates for being willing to step up in our community and largely, you know, I know that it's a nominal compensation, but largely volunteer for this position. You know, I think my experience with living in Mountain House, being active in the community, being involved with the attending school board meetings to understand how the mechanics of a lot of these nuanced decisions and issues and policies work gives me the you know, brief amount of knowledge to at least start with some awareness of how the district operates and to be able to make an impact if I am elected. I've been, as I mentioned, I've been a lifelong educated through public schools, and I'm really proud of that. And I think given the success that I find myself having had, I think that creates an opportunity for many of the other students in our district and our community. I really want to focus on those students who might be disadvantaged for one reason or another and make sure that they have the opportunities that most of our students find success with our district. And I think that's a focus area of mine, given my conversations I've had with parents and others. Maintaining educational excellence is paramount, ensuring that our schools remain at the top of our area and continue to move up in the state. It's great to see the blue ribbon recognition for the high school so that other area schools know that Mountain House exists on the map. And I look forward to earning your vote.
So much.
Thank you, Bryan, and thank you, ZTech, and thanks to everyone who has come here to listen and the people who will be listening our voice through MHMatters. I have been given this opportunity to project myself, but if given a chance, I will try my best. And as I mentioned, if given a chance or without given a chance, I'll volunteer and help the schools and put my hours and commitment to the schools. Yep.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you to Mountain House Matters and Zaytech for hosting and putting this forum on, and thank you to my fellow candidates for your throwing your hat in the ring and being willing to give of your time and expertise to the district and our students. I believe in the collective vision for high-quality educational programs that the district has stood for my entire tenure on the board. As a lifelong resident of Lammersville Unified School District, my wife and I have 5 children, all of whom attended Lammersville District schools. Currently, our granddaughter is a senior at Mountain House High School. I have a personal stake in the success of this school district. It has been an integral part of my family experience for more than 40 years. It has been my honor and privilege to serve on the board for the past 14 years after being elected to the inaugural Lammersville District Board in 2010. I was a key participant in the effort to build Mountain House High School. During my tenure, I have served as president 7 times, and we have come a long way from the 300 student, 1 school district that we were when I was a young man, and I'm proud of the growth and the educational excellence that we have, and I would like to continue with your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Rebecca?
Thank you, Mountain House Matters and ZTech for organizing this candidate discussion. And thank you to my fellow candidates on the panel for your time. And thank you for the audience for joining this discussion. Today, learning about the blue ribbon for Mountain House High School is really a great achievement to all of us at Lammersville Unified School District. In the past 14 years, as Mr. Pambo said, we have come a long way. And, it's a proud moment to all of us to celebrate. That said, given an opportunity, I will continue with this journey. And, certainly I would like to take our district to the next level in terms of our academic and also all-round performance. Looking at all the challenges, our kids and ourselves are facing in this new world, I think with my experience as an educator and the passion that I bring as a community volunteer, I will continue to work for the community, be a voice for all the community members, and strive to uplift everybody. And as my motto says, students are my top priority. So I really look forward to an opportunity to serving on the LUSD board, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. This time has gone by very quickly. I was concerned that we'd be like running out of stuff to talk about, but not even. There's more that I really wanted to address, subjects like bullying in the schools, safety issues like from gun violence and things like that, which we didn't get a chance to get to, but you guys could maybe talk about it in your forums and your people and do that. But I want to thank you all again for making time to be here this evening. I think we've made some great strides in providing a better look at the community's options in this election and really focusing on the great achievements of this district and the good hands that it's been in. And regardless of where it goes in the future, I think it seems clear that the district should be in good hands moving forward, no matter how this all plays out. So I want to thank Khalid Saleh, our man from Zaytech Academy behind the computer over there. He's like Mr. Wizard behind the computer over there, for providing the space for us and helping on the production end. Thank you all again. Best wishes on your campaigns. Voters, if you've not already registered to vote, you have until October 21st. Early mail-in balloting begins October 7th, Election Day. If you want to wait till Election Day and do it that way, old school way, it's November 5th. I was just thinking that the very first time I ever voted in Mountain House was in this room. They had the whole thing set up. That's when we actually would go in and fill out the ballot. So still like to do that, but I don't do that anymore because I want my ballot counted right away. Anyway, we look forward to seeing our democracy in action. I encourage everybody, vote. If you've got the ability to vote, it's really your duty. So you've gotten a good look at what your options are here. We've got districts. We'll put up the map so you can see how the districts are laid out. And even though our representatives will be from individual district areas, I think it's clear that you guys represent the whole district. So thank you again for being here. Wish you all the best and vote.
Thank you.